Hello and welcome to the Crooked Letter Sports Podcast, the show about Mississippi sports and the folks who play them. I'm Tyler Cleveland, joined as always by my co-host and dad, Rick Cleveland of Mississippi Today fame. Dad, did you have a good weekend?
I did.
Good.
It's decent golf weather and yeah, pretty good. I didn't get to go to Mardi Gras like you did.
Yeah, I keep missing chances to play golf like a champ, but I made out pretty well for myself down in New Orleans. Saw a couple of parades and, I got the full experience, man. I had to pee. I couldn't get to where I wanted to get to, and I lost my car keys. So I had the full Mardi Gras experience for a white boy with no rhythm from Mississippi.
Losing a key fob at Mardi Gras has got to be like one of the worst experiences ever.
Well, when you have ADD, when you grow up with it like I did, you lose your keys a lot, and you learn some tricks, as you well know, about retracing your steps and all that stuff.
But at Mardi Gras?
It throws a little bit of a wrench into the system when there's like 25,000 other people between you and where you last saw your keys. So, it's an expensive lesson, but, one that you and I are both well familiar with. I will say this.
Sad to say.
Yeah, I know, right? I will say this. What a weekend at the Mississippi Coliseum for the high school basketball championships. You wrote about it last week, but we're going to talk a little bit of high school basketball. I want to talk college basketball because we're running into the last week of the season, and we want to get to college baseball today. But I want to start at the Coliseum. I'm going to harken back to something you wrote last week about the Jackson suburbs winning in basketball, because this is what happened after you wrote that column. Germantown won the 7A championship. Ridgeland won the 6A championship. Canton won the 5A championship. And Raymond, which may be the most impressive of all, repeated as 4A champions despite losing all their starters, basically.
It's unbelievable what Raymond did.
Yeah, Tony Tadlock's a really good coach, and we're going to get him on the show sometime soon. The guy just keeps winning there.
Well, not only did they lose every starter from last year's championship team, in December, they lost their leading scorer.
Yeah, had a season-ending injury.
Season-ending injury to the leading scorer. So you got your starting five and then your best new guy, and all you do is go ahead and win the state championship.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like Canton blew out Holmes County. Ridgeland beat Olive Branch by, 26?
Yeah.
Germantown, they were only playing Madison Central, another suburb team, but beat them by 17. I mean, that was a really good game with Morton. Morton was pretty good too, but Raymond won 48-43. We talked about it, I think, going back to when we had Mo Williams on at the beginning of the college basketball season about how much better the suburbs were getting because of the growth outside of Jackson. I mean, I don't see how you could see a more stark example here than what we're talking about.
Yeah, no doubt. I know I've said this before on our podcast, but man, Mo's two kids.
They put on a show, didn't they?
Oh, they are so special.
Yeah.
The two of them.
Delighted the Coliseum crowd, I'd say.
Yeah, that
alley-oop in the semifinal.
Ooh. I mean, Michael Williams, I guess he's 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
Man, he went up in the rafters to get the alley-oop pass. His brother threw him and just slammed it. And for all intents and purposes, it was over.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like a coronation. And sometimes it gets like that, especially at this level. There wasn't another team I didn't feel like to truly challenge them. I mean, they played Madison Central a couple of times, and you saw what you saw there.
And the Funchess kid, they list him at 7 feet.
I think he's 6'11".
He's 6'11", and can really move. If he feels out and gets stronger, he's going to be a pro.
Yeah. Well, he's size-wise, he's like Lurch he's like huge. He doesn't move that slowly, but he's just big and wide.
What's really impressive about him is the way he runs the floor. And he's also got a really nice touch around the basket.
Yeah, hard to imagine another team. I mean, I'm sure there may be one of those Clinton teams a couple of years ago that had like Kamani Hamilton and those guys like probably would have. But this is one of the better 7A teams, or I should say the highest classification because those Clinton teams were 6A, but I don't remember another team that was that talented top five.
I was interviewing or talking with Michael Williams after the game, and we were talking about winning the state. This was after the semifinal game.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about him winning the private school championship last year at JA, and then playing for the public school championship. And he asked me, he said, well, if we win it, will we be the first players to ever do that, to win, he and his brother, to win private and state? And I said, I don't know. You might be. And I said, but Andy Kennedy played at Winston Academy and then transferred to Louisville.
Mm-hmm. So
I texted Andy, and they won it at Winston, but got beat in North State when he was. So he did. I don't know. If any listeners know, we'd sure like to know.
Yeah. Either way, an incredible accomplishment for the Williams brothers. Dad, moving on to college basketball. We are now in the final week of the regular season. And it's amazing, we've been talking about Mississippi State and Ole Miss being right there with each other all season. And here we are, last week of the season, 2 games left. Both of the teams are 20-9. They're separated by 1 win in the SEC standings. I was looking at it this morning. Ole Miss is a little bit, like I said, they're 9-7. State's 8-8 in the SEC, despite beating Ole Miss twice, which tells you how good Ole Miss has been elsewhere. Ole Miss, despite not being ranked, does not have a loss to a team outside of the first quadrant.
I think that in today's college basketball, that's an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, if you're a layman, what that means is Ole Miss does not have one loss to a team that they were expected to beat.
They have
not had a what you would call a letdown. I mean, they've had some rough games against some very, very good teams, but they haven't had a head scratching loss all season, which is, I can't remember the last time that was the case for any of our 3 teams in Mississippi.
No bad losses.
No bad losses. They got what it felt like a must win over Oklahoma over the weekend, although they were already in. I think they had already punched their ticket before they played that game, but they beat Oklahoma 87-84. And then no matter what happens, they won't have a loss to a team outside the first quad, because these last 2 games they're playing number 4 Tennessee and Oxford on Wednesday, and they finish up at number 5 Florida. Boy, I mean, a split would be amazing. But I think all it would do is improve their pecking order in the SEC tournament, because they're already in the NCAA tournament, and I think State is too.
And they're both going to be probably 7 seeds, something like that, 7, 6, 7, 8. In that.
We'll see what happens in the SEC tournament. I mean, I think they can both improve. I don't think they can fall much past that, no matter what happens over at the SEC tournament. Mississippi State also got a good win Saturday. The 81-69 win over LSU was one that they needed as well. They have a better chance to finish strong here because they've got Texas. I guess we're recording this on Tuesday morning. They're supposed to play that game tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Right. So the listeners will already know how that came out. But Texas was 16-13, a game that Mississippi State should play well in, especially at home. But you've got at Arkansas on Saturday in a game that really matters to Arkansas. They're 17-12 and much more in that bubble conversation.
They're sitting, as they say, precariously on the bubble.
So that's a game that Arkansas really needs, and it's at Fayetteville. So, it just seems to be the trend this year. A team at home that really needs a win is tough to beat. But either way, both of these teams have had really good seasons. They're both top 20 RPI right now. And like you say, both are probably going to be mid-tier seeds. I still think Mississippi State is a little bit, as they proved on the court twice, maybe a little bit more complete team. But Ole Miss, the way, if they get hot shooting, they still have that puncher's chance, don't you think?
Yeah, and we do have coming up next week. It's going to be interesting this year. The Howell Gillum trophies, and I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably going to end up being either Hubbard or Padula.
Yeah, I think so. Right now, I'd say Josh Hubbard, but, I think Padula's had a fantastic season. Fantastic season.
There's not – I don't know who's been more valuable to his team than Padula has been for Ole Miss.
Right. Well, if that was the description of the award, I think you would have to give it to him. I just think Hubbard gives State an edge, you know what I mean? When he's on and he's, gets in the zone, man, he's just like he was in high school. He's a walking bucket. And, I cannot, in retrospect, I feel like him switching from Ole Miss to Mississippi State at the last minute, when he's finished up his high school recruiting, it is like set the table for all this. Because if he was playing for Ole Miss, you know what I mean? It would be we're having a completely different conversation. I'll say that. I think he would probably get my vote. But what do you think about Mississippi State? Their chances, like I said, they got Texas and Archie, and then Ole Miss with Tennessee and Florida to finish up. What do you think about their chances, and will it matter ultimately what happens this week?
I really don't think, other than seeding in the SEC tournament, it really is going to matter. I think they're both in the tournament. I mean, I don't see a scenario where they're not in play in games either. They're in the 64-team field.
Yeah,
I don't see, where it matters. You want to be playing your best going into the tournament. So
right,
that's probably where it matters the most.
I guess it would all depend on seeding and matchup. But do you think either one of them has a chance to make a run at the SEC tournament? I mean, you talk about some world beaters in this tournament.
I just don't. I don't know.
Can anybody beat Auburn?
Yeah, I mean, somebody could. Alabama could. Tennessee could. Florida could. But they're going to have to be playing their best, and Auburn's going to have to not be playing their best. Because, as I've said several times, I think Auburn's the best team in the country. I do think that Duke is got a chance because they have a really, really good team, and they've got one just phenomenal player.
Yeah,
Cooper Flagg is just who should be a high school senior right now.
I know. This is really impressive. Do you feel that Auburn has a chance to unseat Duke as the most hated team in America?
No, because they just don't have the national presence that
they don't
Duke
have.
has.
Well, they don't have that. They don't have those 4 letters on their shirt. That's it. That's because for me, that's the only thing that's keeping them in a step behind in that race. Because I think it feels like the rest of the country is united in the hate for Auburn at this point. I mean, they're because they're kicking butt and letting everybody know it.
Yeah, they're a very good team. Boy, they're so athletic. Alabama's so athletic. I found myself, I took your dog for a walk Saturday.
Yeah, appreciate you keeping him, by the way.
And found my way to the station on North State Street where they have the most gigantic television screen, I guess, in Mississippi. At any rate, it was the last few minutes of the Tennessee-Alabama game, and my God, both those teams are so good, and it's just going back and forth, and then the Tennessee player hits a running 35-footer at the buzzer to win it.
Yeah. SEC basketball has come a long way.
I think even Django got a little excited about that. Django is Tyler's dog.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He is want to get excited.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something I'm excited about, Dad. We are now 3 weeks into the college baseball season, and we're kind of starting to get a picture of what we got. I know it's still early, and I still feel, despite everything I'm about to say, like as you do, that there's not a whole lot of separation here between the 3 teams in Mississippi. But as we stand this morning, Ole Miss is up to number 17 in the rankings. They're 10-1. I would put them at the top of the pecking order of the 3 right now.
Right now, because of the showing and the big showcase they were in, where they played 3 top 25 teams and won 2 of the games.
Yeah, well, they beat another top 25 team last week when they won that slugfest up in Oxford over Southern Miss 14-8. But since then, they swept Wright State. They don't have – there are some good teams on their schedule coming up, but like this week they've got Southeastern Louisiana, Murray State.
Which is a very good team.
And Jacksonville State, 3-game set this weekend. I don't see anything that's going to slow them down for a minute. It's baseball. They may drop one of these, but, they look on paper to be pretty good, and, man, they can really hit the baseball. And they look like, especially in that game against Southern last week, Southern walks. I've never seen a Southern Miss team walk so many guys, but it was, you got to give credit to Ole Miss. They recognized early that the strike zone was pretty small, and they were very patient and just, when they finally served them up something, they took advantage, scored 14 runs. But I'll say this, man, Southern Miss 9-3, they're up to number 20 in the poll after starting the season unranked. They went 2-2 last week after the loss to Ole Miss. They took 2 of 3 at TCU, which is not that's not easy work there. It's so funny as I was like you said, I was down in New Orleans on Friday, but after they lost that game, the first game of the series to TCU, I remember I talked to you, and it was just the message board stuff. It's just hilarious. Everybody, we're going to fire everybody, and this.
You get it on all 3 now.
I know, and Mississippi State. I was going to get to them. They're 7-4, and I know they've been hating on Chris Lemonis for some time now. But Mississippi State went 1-3 last week. They beat Rice, which is, as we mentioned, not your daddy's Rice, and they lost to Troy, Arizona, and Oklahoma State, which there's nothing embarrassing about any of those. Those are all 3 really good teams.
Top 20 team.
Right. But I'll tell you this, like we said, Southern Miss and Mississippi State, they've been moved now to Wednesday because we're recording this on Tuesday. We thought they were going to be playing tonight. They're going to be playing tomorrow because of weather. If they lose that game up there in Starkville to Southern Miss on Wednesday,
which very well,
it ain't no doubt. Southern Miss is a good team. It's going to get really loud. It's just, I think it's ridiculous. I still feel like Mississippi State is ultimately going to be a top 25 team. You look at them, they just getting off the bus, they look like a top 10 team. So I think it's a lot of hysteria over nothing. I don't think 3 weeks in, I think all 3 of these teams are going to be pretty good.
We said it. None of them were ranked to start the season. And we both said on this show, they're all 3 going to be ranked, and they all 3 have been.
They have been, right. Mississippi State, if they can get this win over Southern Miss this week, they got I want you to know they got a school called Queens coming in this weekend. I'm going to test your knowledge big time. Because it's a team called Queens, which and apparently from North Carolina. I don't know. They don't have a link. It's you know what I mean? When you're looking at the opponents and you click on the link to find out more about them, there is no link for Queens. I have no idea who they are. But Mississippi State should definitely, get some. If they could get that win over Southern Miss and get back on track, you go into next week 11-4, and it's a completely different conversation.
Yeah. And Southern Miss has a good team coming in this weekend. Another good team coming in.
UNC Wilmington.
Yeah, it's good. They play good baseball.
Yeah, well, it's going to be I think this is a weekend for all 3 to kind of, you need these wins. You know what I mean? Because these are not. I think Southern Miss has got 1 win against a Quad 1 team, or what will be a Quad 1 team. This when they. No, Mississippi State is their one.
They got and 2 against TCU on the road.
Right, but that's last week. This is we're talking about this week. We've got that Southeastern Louisiana and Murray State are good games for Ole Miss. Both of those should be quality wins if they can get them.
Right now, Southeastern is definitely a Quad 1 team.
Yeah, I just don't know why you would leave Southeastern Louisiana in the middle of Mardi Gras to come to Oxford, where they're just going. Even if they beat you, they're just going to shower you with beer.
Some people would tell you it's Mardi Gras every night or on the square in Oxford.
That's right. You might not catch as many beads down there. Dad, what else did you see this week? I saw Konnor Griffin. There was some Konnor Griffin news out there.
Yeah. it's just amazing. He's 18 years old. He should be a senior in high school. And, you know, he got a hit.
Drove in a run in
his first spring training major league at bat. And then over the weekend, he hit it out of the park.
Yeah. It's pretty.
To the opposite field, 18 years old. And then after that game, as a matter of fact, I guess they thought two things. They'd seen enough. They had introduced him to the major leagues, and now they want him to play every day. So he's been moved back to the minor league camp where he will get a whole lot more work, a whole lot more ABs.
We'll get to play on him every day, probably.
Yeah, whereas he wasn't going to do that in the major leagues. But he showed why he was the first high school player picked in the draft last year.
I saw the interview with their manager where they asked him about it, and his eyes just kind of lit up. And he's like, yeah, you can see why we took him where we took him.
The kid's a generational talent. He is.
Well, I cannot wait. For one, can't wait to see it play out. I don't know if they moved up his ETA for the big leagues. Is this way too early to speculate on all that?
It's just going to depend on how he hits. And the other thing we're waiting to see is whether he's going to play shortstop, third base, or center field.
It's nice to have that versatility. Yeah. Whatever they need.
Well, let's not forget that he could be pitching too.
Yeah. Well, man, the way they specialize now, that'd be crazy. I saw the Braves have already got their first significant injury. I was on my way back from New Orleans and wanted to throw the phone out the window when I found out that the catcher Sean Murphy looks like he's on the shelf 6 to 8 weeks with a cracked rib. It's we can't. I don't want to go down this road again.
Well, you know, he got hurt in the season opener last year, which started the whole
I know
thing.
I know. It's getting to the point now where, like, if it's a certain time of day and my phone buzzes, I'm like, you know, I'm iffy on turning it over. I still think the Braves need to find another starting pitcher. I know we differ on this, but I feel like they need one more guy because injuries are going to happen at some point. And I feel like the top three, you would say four, I would say the top three guys are rock solid. You're counting Swellenbach.
I think he's solid.
Okay.
I think he's almost Strider.
Well, hold on. That's a bit much.
Well, just look at the numbers. That's all I'm going to say.
You look at Strider's numbers when healthy. My God. I think they're both good players. I don't know if they're going to – I think Swellenbach right now is a good 3-4 guy and, you know, if he pitches really well, could work his way up.
For a lot of teams, he'd be 2.
Yeah. Well, not this one. And we got high aspirations, so – Okay. Sean Murphy, find a way to get that cracked rib back in order. We need you. I saw the Saints finished out their coaching staff. I'm not familiar with most of these guys. Did you have any takeaway at all on the new coaching staff?
My only takeaway on the new coaching staff is, brother, they've got their work cut out for them.
I think they could put together a brain trust of Bill Belichick and
wait, North Carolina's already done that.
No, I'm talking about put together the brain trust of, like, you know, Mike Holmgren and Bill Belichick and
Vince Lombardi
to resurrect Tom Landry, get them all in there, and I think they could get the Saints to like 4 or 5 wins. I don't know. You know, it appears, and I know I did see the news that they are not going to rebuild. They're not rebuilding. They're holding on to Carr. They're kicking the can at least one more year down the road. They're going to retry. They're going to try to re-sign Paulson Adebo and Chase Young, the defensive lineman. They're, I think, currently $55 million over the cap, which is better than they were at this point last year. They were 70. So I don't think, and you know, Mickey Loomis is now in year 153 as the GM of the Saints, and I don't think there's any doubt that they'll find a way to re-sign those guys. I just don't think that makes them a playoff contender, and so I don't really understand the thinking.
No, I mean, I don't either. Although, and I've said this before, and you've kind of narrowed your eyes at me, I do think without the rash of injuries last season that they would have been in the playoffs.
Maybe, but how many games would they have won once they got there?
Hard to say. I just know that those first 2 games of last season when everybody was healthy, They were a load.
That brief moment in the sun.
That glimpse.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I think they've definitely got their work cut out for them. I'm just glad somebody was willing to take the job. I'm not a football coach by any means, but if the money's right, I can lead the Saints to. I bet we can win one game.
You do?
Yeah, one. Because I'll hire great assistants. It'll be great. It'll be fine. We can win one. I just need the paycheck for 1 year, and then I'm good. I'll go back into the shadows and watch them flounder for another 10 years. Dad, what else are you looking forward to this week? Looks like we got some weather rolling in. Might not be playing as much golf, so you're going to have a chance to watch some sports this week.
Well, we're at that time when the basketball matters, so I'll be watching a lot of hoops.
Yeah, and there's some big games this week to finish off the season. Not even just in the Southeastern Conference, like across the country. It's that time of year, man. It seems like every year when the basketball wraps up at the Coliseum, the college basketball, for me at least, takes center stage, and I really get to watch a bunch of good teams. So I'm looking forward to that. You gonna get to any games this weekend?
I don't think so.
You're gonna couch surf.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And by the weekend, I think I may be on the golf course a little bit.
Yeah, well, I hope to be right there with you, buddy. That's all the time we've got this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll talk to you in this space next week. If you're going to a game, be safe out there. And if not, we'll talk to you in this space.